Whether he's showing you how to tie a tie or how to untie one of those knots in life with the Lord's help, spending time with Rob Kenny is time well spent. He created a YouTube channel called Dad, How Do I? And he's our very special guest today. Rob, welcome to Spirit 1053. It is so nice to talk with you.
Yeah, nice talking to you too, Erica.
I am just super inspired by what you've done with your life. You know, there's this old saying, Rob, like they say, be the person you needed when you were younger. And you've done that. How does that feel?
Yeah, it kind of was a fluke, honestly. I wasn't planning on it being what it's turned out to be. I was just trying to, pass along some nuggets that I learned the hard way. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Would you share a little bit of the story behind Dad, How Do I? Where did it come from? Did it start in your heart? You just noticed something? What happened?
Yeah. Like you said, with my backstory, my dad left when I was 14. There's been lots of memes going around that he abandoned me, and I don't like the choice of those words.
Yeah.
He did choose to leave, so that is a reality. And I ended up living with my brother, and I just learned a lot of things the hard way. My kids are grown now. I have my daughter's 30 and my son's 27. And, I was kind of looking for something to do because my goal in life wasn't to become wealthy or anything like that. I wanted to raise good adults.
Yes.
That was kind of my goal. And then once that was over and my kids were out of the home, I was a little bit lost. Honestly, yeah. I was praying about it. I said, Lord, I'm a pretty young man still. I got a lot of life to live. What am I going to do now? And lo and behold, he kind of brought this thing along. So it's kind of, it's crazy how it has happened. So I thought of the idea, a couple of years before the pandemic. And then my daughter kept on me to go ahead and do it. And so I ran out of excuses, honestly. And so tying a tie was my first one. And I didn't realize it was going to resonate on the level that it's resonating.
Oh, my goodness. What has been your favorite thing to teach kids who are looking to you, kids who don't have a dad in their lives?
Yeah, I love that quote from Teddy Roosevelt, the man in the arena, just talking about not letting the critic keep you from doing things. And sometimes it can be your inner critic, too, that's beating you up, telling you you're not good enough or you can't do something. And so I try to encourage people to, move on from their past. That's a big thing. As a man of faith, I've been forgiven much. And so I try to teach forgiveness because it took me a long time, even after becoming a Christian, to forgive my dad. And I try to be open about it. It's not easy, but it's in your best interest to be able to forgive. So I try to make that a big part of my message is the freedom for you when you actually forgive. A lot of people think you're letting somebody off the hook, but in reality, you're actually setting yourself free when you let go of that.
Wow. That is so powerful and so true. And I've experienced that in my own life. And like you said, it's not easy. But what is? I mean, other things that you teach the kids, how to tie a tie, how to change the oil, how to shave. I think that's the video that just touches my heart so deeply because it's just so personal, right?
Yeah. In my ignorance or my naivety, I thought I was just going to show people how to tie a tie, but people are crying watching me tie a tie because of the other emotions tied with it that I just didn't anticipate.
I love knowing that. Rob, how has the Lord used this idea to change your own life?
Oh, he's gotten me way out of my comfort zone. I'm an introvert, and I've shared that when my channel went viral, I was actually crying out to the Lord on my bed, actually literal tears going, Lord, what just happened to my safe life that I was living where, kind of anonymous. Suddenly my face is everywhere and it says, if you Google internet dad, it's me. My face is out there and I couldn't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And so that was terrifying for me. And I even made the statement before, how much people are scared of speaking in front of people. I always said, man, if I ever am actually up in front of people speaking, that it's God that did it because there's no way that's something I have any aspirations to do. I'm comfortable sitting, in the back of the church, not ever having to speak. And lo and behold, next month, I'm actually speaking at a conference down in Tacoma where I'm actually going to have to get up and speak in front of everybody. But I'm just trusting that the Lord has me. And if I fall on my face, he still loves me.
That's right. I read once that the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. And I feel like the Lord is always wanting us to grow. And I'm grateful for that. There are days I'm like, hey, could I have a break from the growth? But it means he loves us. He's tending to us like a gardener tends the roses.
Absolutely. Yep. And then I love that saying too. And I actually said that one on one of my Wisdom Wednesdays was
Wow.
about the comfort zone. And, I love the saying, I can't remember the gal, Patsy Claremont, maybe, that said God uses crackpot.
Yes.
Because, his light's able to shine through my weaknesses. And so, and I think having an eternal perspective, that's actually what I'm going to be speaking on is, having an eternal perspective on your life, understanding that everything is temporary, in this life, it's all temporary. And having that is huge because it gets you through the fact that this isn't going to be forever. It's going to be one day, things are going to be made right.
Yeah, one day we're going to be home. Yes, and things are going to be made right. That's one of my favorite things to think about. Okay, Rob, I have to ask you, what video that you've shared has resonated the most with your audience?
Those early ones, the tie and
Yep.
the shake. And then I do have one where I said, I love you, I'm proud of you, and God bless you at the end of it. And that has probably the most views, I think. And it really was just me panicking because what just happened to my life. And I talked about the man in the arena. I read the man in the arena and just talked about, don't let critics stop you from doing something that you feel like you're called to do because the critics are a dime a dozen, Anybody can be a critic. It takes really no effort and it's easy to sit in your comfort. And, with social media, they got no repercussions for what they feel like they can just go ahead and put out there and hammer you on.
Right.
It's amazing how rude people feel like they can be in the safety of their home, taking pot shots at people. So all that to say, I think that video probably has resonated a lot, and it's important to tell your kids you're proud of them and that you love them.
Amen. So I'm curious, maybe from your inbox, maybe an email that you received, is there a story that you love to tell about somebody whose life was touched by Dad? How do I?
Yeah, honestly, there's so many. It's heartwarming and heartbreaking on the other side of it. The flip side of my channel going viral is how needed it is. It breaks my heart. And so I get some pretty tough stories that people write about what they've been through. And, I've been through something, but not near as much as what other people have been through. And I try to share that, I can give you some empathy. I certainly didn't go through what you went through. And, I'm sorry. And then I try to point them to the Lord, too, because ultimately everything is a Band-Aid apart from the Lord. I can tell you, hey, go get them, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get out there. But really, it's just a Band-Aid because, problems again will come back. And understanding that eternal perspective of people aren't getting away with what they think they're getting away with. And you can trust that the Lord is just and he'll do what's right in the end. Nobody's going to go, why did he do, or we might say why, but, but it's going to make sense, I think, all in the end. And so having that is huge, having that perspective on everything. And so I do try to point people back to the Lord, even if they're not believers. And I always say, God bless you, at the end of especially now that we're this far into it, because I don't ever want to compromise that. And I've had people say, oh, you shouldn't say that. You'd have a bigger reach. And I'm like, you know what? If that offends you, if saying God bless you offends you, I think you got bigger problems than that. So.
Oh, I am so glad that you're the internet dad. At the beginning of our conversation, you said to the Lord, I have a lot of life to live. You also have a lot of life to give. And Rob, we so appreciate you giving your time today. I think this is going to inspire a lot of people.
Yeah, well, thanks. And I love, Spirit 105.3. I've listened to KCMS, KCIS forever, or not forever. When I became a Christian about 30 years ago, I've learned a lot by listening to your stations. So.
Wow. Well, that is so good to hear. So glad you're part of the family. And I would love to have you back around Father's Day if you're willing. Sure. So I'll send you another email. But God bless you, my friend. I feel like I made a friend today.
Well, thanks, Erica. Me too.